Hi, everyone. It's Kim from the Love Group, an empowerment agency that teaches social and emotional learning to help people of all ages learn how to love and take care of themselves. We are 5 friends and professionals who specialize in areas including nutrition, human design, breast cancer awareness, mindfulness, and empowerment. And in light of the pandemic, we are coming together to offer healing and inspiration. Our last episode was called The Big Reset, where we talked about reframing how we look at this pandemic, how it's changing us and our world. And this episode is about our emotions. It's a very, very emotional time right now, and it feels way more real, and people are struggling to get a handle on them. And then to top it off, we're isolated when we need each other the most. So I want to start this conversation off just asking you ladies, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm actually doing pretty well, I have to say, under the circumstances. I mean, work, thank God I have work, pretty busy. Everyone's trying to figure it out. But I feel like I'm keeping my routines. I'm keeping my head above water and keeping things in perspective as best I can on my end. You guys?
I will come forth and say that I definitely had an emotional breakdown this morning, which brought me into this morning from last night. I did not get a good night's sleep, and I think I was just drained, and I think I am drained from everything that's going on, all of the information that's out there. And I think it's very overwhelming, and I think it's a very scary time for all of us. I mean, if we're going to be real and we're going to be friends, I'm going to be okay. I know that I'm very positive. I know that I'm a strong human being, and I know that I can get past my awful or bad, disturbing emotions. But I have to be real with myself and everyone out there. It takes time, and it takes a lot of work to be able to do something like that.
I'm hearing you.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that, Paris. I feel okay as well.
We have an echo.
We have a little bit of a technical issue happening.
Does anybody have like the phone on and the video on or anything like that? No? Okay.
Nope.
All right, well, go ahead, Lee.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for myself, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I'm okay, but sometimes I'm not so okay. And those times that I'm not okay, I find are times of silence, times of just, I kind of catch myself feeling like a tension that I really am not sure how to identify, although I am also finding that my days are flying by quicker than when I was holding 3 jobs and cooking and cleaning and all of that. And I feel like I've taken on new habits and some new tasks, and they are filling up my time, and I'm still not allowing myself to just kind of chill, maybe just late at night. And it's wild to think of it. Like I have all these hours in the day and I'm still, going nonstop. So I guess for me, it's a little bit overwhelming in the calmest way that could be, because I'm home, I'm around.
Lee, do you think that you're avoiding your emotions at all?
No, because I am journaling, I am meditating, and I'm in touch with my emotions when I go there, and I'm thinking about it. But at the same time, maybe it's just a physical thing. I'm constantly doing something. I'm doing the laundry, and then I'm journaling, and then I'm meditating, and then I'm going to buy eggs if I need them, and then it's a constant.
Juji, how are you doing, Juji? Just because we wanted to kind of go around the queue here.
Well, I think that was a really good question, Kim. Like, are you avoiding your emotions by like doing all of these things? And I was like trying to check in with myself at one point about whether or not I was doing that. And it was interesting because before we even really started this call, I brought up the fact that, I'm on social media a lot, and I see a lot of people talking, either they're trying to make jokes or they're being serious, but regardless, there's a collective sort of like, it's okay if you're okay. Like, it's okay not to be okay, but it's also okay to don't force yourself to feel something that you just aren't. Don't force yourself to feel guilty because you're not more upset. You know, like, if anything, be grateful that you're not feeling scared and anxious, and then try to be there for those who are maybe feeling that way, not by telling them to be just like you, because obviously we're all different and we're all experiencing this differently, but just to listen. I think most people right now just need an outlet for people to listen to how they're feeling, and it's very difficult not to add anything and to like be like, well, you should really fill in the blank. You can share what you're doing about your, you know, mental state of mind. I like to go for a walk every single day to clear my head, to get out of the house. I don't go shopping. I don't do anything. I just walk and listen to my music on my phone. And that's like my, like, clearing my head time. And I can suggest that other people do it, but I definitely don't think that anybody should feel any type of way about feeling.
Mm-hmm. Taras, did you want to say something? Like before?
Ask Lee if she could identify the emotions that she was actually feeling. When she said she didn't think she was covering anything up, like by just keeping busy and stuff. I was, just curious, as, are emotions coming up, and are you aware of the emotion that's coming up? And, maybe we could discuss all of the emotions that are coming up maybe for some people.
Yes, I think I believe I'm aware of the emotions that come up, and it doesn't mean I'm dismissing them. It's always been in my veins to stay busy, and if working, I was juggling 3 jobs, and I'm always on the go. And now that I don't have the jobs, I'm still kind of on the go at home, and I'm cooking, and I'm helping my neighbors, and whatever it is that's needed, although I don't feel like that is one of the things I'm doing to run away or to avoid my feelings.
Well, Taris's point, what exactly, like, if you can sort of delve into, as I think Taris was asking, like, what is it that you're feeling? Like, what is coming up for you that you're acknowledging?
Some anxiety, but I go back and forth. It's up and down. I sometimes feel some anxiety. I sometimes physically feel some tension, and other times I feel great. And I'm, for the most part, just grateful throughout my day, because I do have shelter. I have food. I have warmth. I have my son with me. I have everything really that I need. And I'm healthy, and my family is healthy. And, it's amazing to think that some people feel like they are suffering so much. And other than our emotions about this pandemic, most people are not suffering. So you have to stay home, and you can take walks outside, but you get to eat, and you get to read, and you get to be warm. And that's really something that I think will be opening up a lot, or creating a lot more awareness.
Yep.
As I think this globe shifts its mindset a little bit.
Kim, what were you going to say?
I've had anxiety too, but for the most part, I've been okay. Something I realized earlier that I was actually talking to you about, Shira, was that when it comes to emotions, I tend to want to squash them as fast. Any negative emotion, I tend to want to squash it as fast as possible. And in preparation for this call, I actually felt the need to offer tools and come up with all these ways that, like, things that we do to take care of ourselves to help calm our emotion, keep that voice quiet, calm the anxiety. And what I really realized from talking to you earlier was the best two things that you can do for that is to feel your emotions. And I think that is what's so scary to most people. That's why so many people are so uncomfortable. I mean, I just got a call earlier from a friend saying she was absolutely miserable. She's drowning in her anxiety. And it's just, there's nowhere to go. She's just it.
Consumed.
Yeah. And I think feeling it and just to into it and allowing yourself to actually feel it is so uncomfortable. But I think feeling it and then just talking about it to friends, to family, just talking through the emotion, feeling it and talking about it. I'm starting to really see that those are really the only two things we can do. I mean, yes, there's going for walks. There's, all these things that we practice that we'll talk about a little later. But at the end of the day, all those things, like going for a walk example is a good example. You can go for a walk and completely be in your head filled with anxiety, and the walk's not really going to do much for you. Or
Right.
you can go for a walk and be as present as possible and take in all the nature, all the nice homes or whatever it is you're surrounded by, and really just like get yourself out of your mind. And then that walk will be really beneficial and helping you release some of that, some of that heaviness. But yeah, that was like kind of a big sort of like moment for me before, when I thought, oh my gosh, I just have to feel it. Like that's the key. That's the answer, is feeling it. And that is
Yeah.
so uncomfortable.
I wanted to actually thank you. You guys are so insightful, and I'm actually getting a little emotional right now because I vacillate also. I vacillate between knowing how to take care of myself and meditating and being grateful and all of that. And then I think about the people who are actually like having to be on the front lines and, grocery store clerks. And yesterday I was walking back from giving blood, which is what I wanted to talk about. And I was walking down the street and all of a sudden I see a bunch of people going like this, woo, yay, woo. And I'm looking around. I was on the phone with my sister and I'm like, do you hear all this clapping? And I didn't see people. Like I didn't see people clapping. And I'm like, oh, it must be up in the balconies or something. And I'm looking up and I don't see. And then all of a sudden in the distance, like 2 blocks before, I see these people clapping. And then I'm walking a little bit more. And then on the cross street, I see people clapping. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't even know what's happening right now. And so I stopped these people and I said, why is everybody clapping? And she said, for all the healthcare workers, for all the people in like ambulances and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. So like I found myself starting to clap. And then in my head, I'm going, are they going to hear us? Like maybe it'll be on the news or something. Like, I don't know. But I started to really think about the people who actually have to start making decisions about, we know this is going to get worse before it gets better. So my push pull is Shira's taking care of herself, and Shira's putting herself in the position of the people who are actually on the front lines, dealing with patients, dealing with loved ones, dealing with women that just gave birth that can't have their family with them. Like they're there, they're witnessing it, they're seeing it firsthand. And I just feel so bad for them. I just feel so bad. You feel helpless, but then I gave blood yesterday and I'm like, that's something I can do.
Juji, what were you going to say before I?
Oh gosh. That was like 3 people. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I think that whole thing about gratitude is really important. I know that we are of the mindset in our like health and wellness bubble that we live in, where like we talk about gratitude all the time. And one of the things that I want to sort of just point out is like, I can be super grateful for those people, but I know that like what they need me to do more than anything is like take care of myself and like be okay at home. And that's why like all of these like people are texting each other to stay home and like posting all this stuff online about like staying home, like we're in a very different kind of war than we've ever known. And so like the front lines used to be soldiers, and now it's literally everyone. So like doing the right thing in terms of giving blood and staying home and being healthy, like that's the most that you can do in terms of like control, the amount of control that you have. Because a lot of people get really a lot of anxiety from feeling like they don't have control over the situation. And at this point, the only thing we have control over is what we do.
Yep. Taris, what were you going to say?
Well, I could connect with you, Shira, with your sensitivity, because that was pretty much my downfall this morning. Obviously, doing a lot of research, looking at a lot of, behind the scenes stuff. And it's kind of just like it connected with me in that, I think all of us are, 5 strong women that are innately helpful, right? We want to help people. And we are all stuck in our house right now. And we feel, or I should say, this is how I felt this morning. I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like I can't help people. Like I get it. I'm supposed to stay home and I am supposed to, take care of myself and take care of my family. But I do that all the time, So for me, it was very emotional to be like, all this stuff is going on in our world, and it's about to get worse here. And there are people on the front line who are not spending time with their families. They can't see their families. They don't know if they're getting sick tomorrow. You know what I mean? They're seeing people die every single day. They can't even help these people. How do we help them? Like, we have to help them. Like, that's my heart. And that's, that's the reality of it. Like, there are people putting their lives on the line right now for people dying, and they need help.
Taris, how are you dealing with those emotions?
I mean, it's hard. For the past 3 days, it's been an up and down roller coaster. I work for a company overseas, and they are doing this really big, huge campaign for the frontline people. So I'm in it, and I'm reading a lot of information of stuff that is happening behind the scenes. And it's coming here, and I don't know how to deal with it. I go back and forth. I do my energy healing. I still go to my chiropractor, and I'm very thankful that my chiropractor is very into tapping and energy healing, and, brings me to a really great place. And, I meditate. And this morning when I was having a breakdown, I went for a 6-mile run. And, all those things are great, but guess what? Those emotions, they're going to come back. So it's like dealing with it on a minute to minute basis or an hour to hour basis, and it's like you just pray for the best, and you just go, you know what, you're going to be good, you're going to get out of this, you know how to do this.
Yep. Pep talk yourself.
Yeah, pep talk yourself, write it down, sit, when the emotion comes up, ask yourself, where is this emotion really coming from? Like, is it coming from a deep, deep, dark place? Like, is there something that you couldn't do at another time in life that now it's coming back to almost, remind you or haunt you? Like, I just feel like we need to dig deep, because there's a reason why all this is coming up. And I'll never forget, I had a psychologist one time, and I was having really bad anxiety years ago, and I couldn't get control of it. And she told me, and it was the best advice I have ever heard in my life: the anxiety is present for a reason. Something is wrong inside of your body. The energies are not matching up, and you need to find out what your body is telling you, because your body's telling you something. Mm-hmm. So you need to talk to it.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need to be, just for a minute, just not dig, not look, not work. Sometimes you just need to be.
Yeah. Well,
Lee, what were you going to say? Lee, oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say one last thing. I heard something really great this morning when I was listening to someone, and she had mentioned, stop and be still, like what you're saying, Shira, but just ask a higher power, or ask while you're meditating, whoever that higher power may be, whatever it is, like, what can I do right now? or give me an answer to what I need help with, or help me with getting through my feelings. Like, and you will get an answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Lee?
So yeah, and that's a great point, Terrace. And I feel like sometimes I get an answer and sometimes I don't. So I try to fill in the gaps with doing the best that I can in terms of for my community and my society, for society. So I wanted to mention that also, Juji, you were saying how there's not much we can control right now, right? We got to stay in, we got to do our best, maybe give blood. But I have been seeing some things on a local level here in my community that have been tremendously helping people. And everyone's basically in their homes. There's a girl, Blair Lungaro, big shout out to her. She started a Facebook page. It's called Feeding Our Local Heroes. And what she's been doing is taking in donations, right, through Venmo, PayPal, and I believe other towns have followed suit. And it has been phenomenal. I think in 5 or 6 days, she collected about $10,000, and it continues. So she's able to get volunteers like myself. We make phone calls, people make deliveries, or the restaurants are making deliveries. So through all of these donations, she's placing orders at these restaurants and supporting them. And at the same time, these things are being delivered. North Shore Hospital, LIJ, Animal Hospital, CVS, the pharmacist, all of these locations. This morning I was at CVS. I saw a delivery taking place in action. And the faces of the people receiving this was priceless. They were like, oh my God, we got our bread, because they are busy. They're getting their deliveries. They're stocking up the shelves. They're trying to accommodate everybody at the same time, stay, clean and disinfected. So that's been really something that makes me feel so good. And just real quick, also, neighbors, ask your neighbors, do you need it? Like, I call 4 of my neighbors every time I go to the store to see if anybody needs anything. And lastly, I will add that as far as I don't know how to help is those people that are home in abusive homes, especially children. That really, really gets to me. Children that have alcoholic parents, drug addict parents, whatever, or don't have food. How do we help them? Children who feel safe only when they are in school.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Well,
It's a rough one, Lee.
that's kind of what I was referring to when I was talking about control. Like, well, one of the things about how quickly this has happened and how easily this virus spreads makes people feel like they don't have control because you can't see it. It could be anywhere. You could go anywhere, and you could, that's the type of control that I was really talking about. And I love the stories that have been coming out of this and the ways people are helping and participating and things like that. And the other thing is sort of a reframing of like anxiety as a whole. With Terrace, I love that you pointed out that that's a way for you to check in with yourself about what's wrong. But there is also this sort of like thing in our society, like happy, good, sad, bad.
Right.
And like reframing that, I think, is so important. I think that, sad can be a time of creativity. Sad can be a time of reflection. Sad can definitely bring a lot of good things that you may not see in the moment because it's uncomfortable. Like you said, Kim, it's very uncomfortable because we've always been told that sad is bad.
Yeah. This is so interesting, and I think we're going to wrap it up, but I also wanted to say that I came across this really interesting phrasing of emotions, how we're saying, happy, good, sad, bad. Somebody was talking about how emotions need to have like better language for them. And what I'm going to do after this call is I'm going to comment on the YouTube video when we have it up. exactly what this guy said because it was so interesting how we need to have more creative ways to talk about what our emotions are. It's not just, anxious, happy, comfortable, it's more than that. It's more, we need to put more color around it. So I'm going to share that on the YouTube channel when we post this.
And just one last thing to piggyback on what Taras was saying earlier, is just that a lot of the anxiety is just feeling what we're feeling. And she was talking about like talking to yourself and actually asking these questions to yourself or to the universe, or whatever it is, whoever your higher source is that you believe in. And I'm just such a huge proponent of that. I pray every day, and people probably associate prayer with religion. And I'm not religious at all. I'm more spiritual, but to me, prayer is just having a conversation with yourself. It's having a relationship with yourself. So, I just ask, and I thank, and I keep making requests, and I keep acknowledging, the good that I see, and because I just want to constantly experience more of that. So I
And
just
have
think
faith.
yeah, it is right. Just keeping your faith renewed over and over and over. It's so important because, like we talked about last time, getting pulled into fear and allowing yourself and really, by asking questions and having a conversation with yourself. It sounds crazy to do, but actually asking yourself questions, like Taras, you said, like, how do I feel? Okay, maybe I'm feeling lack of control because of this. And, and now with the virus, it's all just so heightened. But it's, at the end of the day, it's helping you have a good relationship with yourself. It's helping you take care of yourself. Anyway, I can go off on a tangent about this. But why don't we leave the viewers with some ideas of how they can, take care of themselves, help calm their anxiety, help get a handle on their emotions, even if it's just a moment in a day, not like for the whole 24 hours in the day, but just like, even if it's a moment here and there. Why don't we go around and just share one thing that we do each day to really help ourselves in that department? Maybe it'll help someone listening.
I can share something quick because I'm a daily meditator. You don't have to meditate for a really long time to get the benefits of it. So if anybody tells me they don't have 5 minutes in a day, that's a huge lie. Like, just lock yourself in a bathroom or in a room somewhere, and just breathe. And there's one little tip that can be helpful. It's called smell the soup, blow on the soup, right? You picture a big bowl of soup in front of you, you smell it, you blow on it for 5 minutes, and it really just helps take you out of your head and just shift things a little. Just need a little shift. That's all you need.
I'll go next. So one of the things that I've been incorporating, actually, hopefully into my daily life always and forever, is doing something for somebody else. Every day, do something for somebody else. It could be a phone call. It could be go grocery shopping for someone. It could be volunteering somewhere, or making a meal. But that is really so rewarding for me. And that is something that I'm sticking with now as well during this tough time.
Taras?
For me, actually, first, what I would just like to say is that I think that this conversation was so inspirational, and I do believe that we should carry it out and dive a little bit deeper into emotions for everybody. And I welcome people to, send a message to us, and let's dive a little bit deeper. We want to know your thoughts. We want to know what you're feeling. But what I do to calm my mind is, I'm a big runner, so I go out and I run. That's my form of meditation. I don't really just sit there and close my eyes and go, I run, and I listen to a very calming music, kind of chanting a little bit music. And then I say my affirmations, like in my head, and then I start saying them out loud. And If I'm fine in 1 mile, I'm fine in 1 mile. But if I got to run 10 miles, I'll run 10 miles until my head is clear.
All such good things to do. Wow. One of the things that I've done is I've completely cut out sugar. Because I know that sugar is an inflammatory, and I know that gut health has a lot to do with your physiology and the serotonin that you get into your brain. And when you eat a lot of sugar, which is something that people do when they're stressed out, is your mood spikes up and down, and it's a lot choppier than if you try and if we're trying to be more even keel, then it's a really great way of doing that. I mean, I love chocolate. I love pastries. I love all of those things, but I know that it's not going to allow for good sleep for me. It's going to make my mood escalate a lot. And so if I'm really craving something sweet, I'll have an apple, which I realize has sugar in it, but I'm trying to stay away from any sort of processed sugar.
Good for you, Judas.
Nice.
I definitely need to do that. I am emotional eating, which will be a whole other episode. I'm gonna go with the prayer. Praying every day that I'm in the shower. I have a little moment at the end where I make the water a little hotter, and I feel it on my back like a massage. And the first part of the prayer is just being thankful. So I, pick a whole bunch of things that I'm so thankful for right now, and continue to be. And I just thank my higher power for those things. And then the second part of it is I ask for something, and that's my shower routine, which has become quite lovely. If I ever forget, literally my day doesn't feel complete. So on that note, we hope that whatever you've taken away from this video today really helps you feel good, positive emotion. Or sad, that's okay too. And if you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel, and be sure, like Tara suggested, please let us know if you have any topic requests, if you have any questions. You can comment below, or you can email us at info@thelovegroup.org. And we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.